Seven.
Look here. Look here. Look here.
Seven. Look here.
Seven over here.
Seven.
Over here.
Over here, seven.
Smile.
How can you save the cheerleader if you can't even watch the show? The sitcom that made Tom Hanks a star is nowhere to be found. Speaking of Tom Hanks, his buddy Buzz got the boot too? I'm Seven McAllister for 7 Entertainment. Let's take a look at 7 more big TV shows you can't watch on streaming. That's right. We're getting so many good comments on this topic, we're doing it again. Screw it. Now, before we get into this, we appreciate your support, so if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel. It's just one little clickety-click, and then we'll get to hang out all the time. It'll be great. Also, we appreciate that there are a wide variety of ways you can still watch these shows. Legal, like, buying them digitally or on DVD, and less legal, and hey, we're not judging. You do you. Number 1, Heroes. Thanks to GBA Time for reminding us of this one. Back in 2006, Heroes debuted on NBC as if it was the second coming of serialized TV greatness. Ordinary folks discovering superpowers, a sprawling myth arc, and that catchphrase, "Save the cheerleader, save the world," was etched into our pop culture DNA. Season 1 pulled in around 14 million viewers an episode and became the network's most talked about drama in years. Viewers felt like comic book conspirators every Thursday night. And remember, this was 2 years before the original Iron Man movie would premiere and kick off the current superhero renaissance we're currently suffering through. I kid. I love Baby Black Widow so much. However, the magic quickly started unraveling. The 2007-2008 writer's strike cut season 2 short and threw plot lines into scramble mode. More confusion than a villainous power swap. Once the show returned, ratings dipped season by season. By season 4, it averaged under 6 million viewers, a far cry from its glorious peak. Critics and fans alike sniffed that the mythos ballooned without direction, time travel, alternate realities, and too many dangling threads eventually felt like creative spaghetti stuck to the wall rather than a master plan. Showrunner Tim Crane later insisted the audience was huge, just not measured properly, most downloaded and most DVR'd. Although that defense reads like a Trojan horse stuffed with wishful thinking rather than a real rating savior. Fast forward to the streaming era, and Heroes seems to be stuck in some kind of fortress of solitude. Rights to classic TV shows aren't immortal. They're rented, sub-licensed, shuffled, and often pulled. While Heroes has streamed on Peacock in the past, many fans report it vanishing from platforms like Peacock or Prime, bouncing around services, which is a plain reminder that streaming availability changes constantly as deals expire. And as of the recording of this video, if it isn't available for streaming anywhere, you can still buy it digitally, but it is possible we may never see it on streaming again. Number 2, Friday the 13th, the series. Big thank you to Charles Lee Ray 812 for bringing this one to our attention. Now let's get this out of the way first. Friday the 13th, the series, has about as much to do with Jason Voorhees and Camp Crystal Lake as a tax seminar does with Halloween candy. Despite the name, there's no machete-wielding behemoth looming in the woods. There's no iconic hockey mask stalking promiscuous camp counselors. The only thing it really slashes is audience expectations. What this show actually is kind of like a Cursed Antiques Roadshow. The premise was that an occult antique dealer, Louis Vendredi, yes, his name literally means Friday en français, made a demonic deal and then tried to wiggle out of it. That backfires, his soul gets repossessed, and his niece Mickey and cousin Ryan inherit the shop. They decide to sell all the stuff, which is a rookie mistake because all the little knickknacks in the store are totally cursed. So instead of tracking a hulking murderer, you get them trying to find the new owners of cursed dentures, haunted paintings, and other items, and then return them to the store's vault. So why is this show the ghost of streaming past? Well, the original 1987 series is not on the big subscription platforms in the US right now, the way movies are because of rights wrangling and sheer obscurity. The movies themselves bounce around services like Max and Paramount Plus depending on licensing windows, but the TV series languishes in rights limbo, and DVD box sets it turned into one of those cult artifacts that cable reran forever, but nobody quite thought to put on Netflix or Shudder. In other words, if you tune in expecting Jason, zero. But if you're into things like cursed sewing machines that might take out your entire household, then it's perfect for you. It's like the equivalent of like a weird antique Mall of Doom. Unfortunately, finding it on streaming is harder than surviving a sequel. But, and you didn't hear this from me, every episode of the show is available on YouTube. Now, if you're enjoying this video, please hit the subscribe button so we can hang out again soon. Number 3, NBC's prime time begins at 7:30. Big thank you to Jeffrey Riley 9742 for sending me down this weird rabbit hole. Back in 1987, NBC decided to stretch its sitcom muscles earlier in the evening with a rotating weekly lineup of shows meant to lure viewers in before the real primetime even started. Among these hopefuls were We've Got It Made, Out of This World, and She's the Sheriff. They were part of a set of first-run sitcoms that NBC owned and operated stations could air at 7:30 in a bid to compete with game shows and reruns on other channels. We've Got It Made was a revived sitcom zombie, originally a short-lived NBC series in 1983 and 84. It was brought back in syndication for this new block with Terry Copley's character once again hired as a live-in maid for two clueless bachelors. Critics and viewers were not enthralled, and the revival died after one season. Also, I gotta ask, why are you spelling maid M-A-D-E? Come on, she's a maid. Punt it up, brothers. Then there's Out of This World, which boasts a half-alien teenager who could stop time and zap objects into existence. If that premise sounds like someone threw Bewitched and Star Trek into a blender with extra sparkle, that's because it's pretty much television science fantasy on training wheels. Despite mostly negative reviews, some called it perhaps the worst sitcom ever, it was the most successful of the trio, limping along into weekend slots and lasting longer than the others. And finally, She's the Sheriff. She's the Sheriff gave Suzanne Summers a return to TV as a widow who inherits the badge of sheriff, leading to sitcom Law & Order mishaps. It wasn't exactly Hill Street Blues. TV Guide later ranked it among the 50 worst shows of all time, which is the kind of honor nobody really wants. Now, why do these shows feel like relics buried in broadcast dust rather than staples on today's streaming menus? Well, a few reasons. Most were syndicated, not really network hits, so rights are fragmentary and often tied up with regional stations rather than a single streaming owner. Plus, puzzle piece licensing and lack of demand makes them low priority for digital platforms. So, unless you hunt down some dusty DVDs or catch rare reruns on nostalgia channels, these half-remembered experiments will stay in the vault, guarded by a blonde officer of the law, before she bails to sell Thigh Masters. Number 4, Bosom Buddies. Thank you to William3307 for this gem. Bosom Buddies sounds like a sitcom concept you might dream up after one too many retro cocktail spritzes. Two struggling New York City ad men lose their apartment. The only cheap place left is a women's-only hotel, so they slap on dresses and become Buffy and Hildegard to qualify. So basically, we want to do something like it hot, but it can't just be for like a weekend. The guys need to dress up forever because it's a series, and no disrespect intended. It was genuinely funny for its time and even helped launch Tom Hanks' star career. But unlike Friends or Seinfeld, it isn't happily marooned on every streaming service you check. In fact, it is nowhere to be found. Official streaming listings currently show no available platform carrying either season of Bosom Buddies right now, meaning no Peacock, no Paramount Plus, no Netflix binge nights. It's literally absent from the big streaming menu, so what gives? Short answer is ancient right spaghetti. Music licensing gremlins, even though the series did get a Region 1 DVD release, the classic theme song, Billy Joel's My Life, was swapped out because of licensing costs and rights hassles, and multiple musical cues and episodes were edited or removed to avoid paying giant fees just to include the songs. Those same complications make streaming deals way messier and less profitable, especially for a show that only has 37 episodes, which is too few for real syndication leverage, and a premise that, let's be honest, hasn't aged swimmingly. Although the name Bosom Buddies, you just know they were high-fiving in the writer's room after coming up with that one. Now, fans on internet forums confirmed it vanished from streaming and resides mostly on physical DVDs or occasional classic TV reruns. Some even joke that old reruns on MeTV and Catchy Comedy are the only legal way to see it anymore. Number 5, Brotherly Love. Thanks to you, Cracked It, for pointing out this one. Yeah, I watched Blossom back in the day, but only because I had a huge crush on Jenna Von Oy, and yes, I am the right age where that wasn't creepy, but I'd be lying to myself and to you if I didn't say that most people were watching because of Joey Lawrence. As Joey Russo, the charming, dim but lovable older brother, Lawrence delivered comic timing, catchphrases, and that famous "whoa" that echoed across 90s living rooms. The show's popularity put his face on magazine covers and his posters on bedroom walls. This led to Lawrence's own show, Brotherly Love, where Lawrence and his real-life brothers played half-brothers trying to figure out life, love, and laughs. It premiered in 1995 and limped to a finish in 1997 after 2 seasons on NBC, and then the WB, which is an odd migration that was a precursor to the streaming chaos we know today. Despite its nostalgic charm and actual chemistry between the brothers, the show has become a black hole. Everybody remembers it, but where the heck can you watch it? Now, here's the corporate version of what happened after briefly popping up and then disappearing from platforms like Netflix and spurts. There's currently no legal streaming home for the series. Rights aren't tied up in some dramatic heist, it's just classic legacy content limbo. The show is produced by companies that no longer have a straightforward relationship with the modern streaming giants. You got Touchstone, Whit Thomas, Disney, WB, so it just kind of rots in licensing purgatory. This is the kind of thing that should get Disney Plus or Peacock dusting off the old master tape, slapping it on their system, and watching the nostalgic dollars roll in. Instead, you get scattered VHS ripoffs on YouTube and Reddit threads full of 90 kids muttering "whoa," not like a sad whoa, like a whoa. Yeah, nailed it. Number 6, Buzz Lightyear of Star Command. Thanks to Natsumi no Kahe for this one. Back in the pre-Disney Plus days, Buzz Lightyear of Star Command was a Saturday morning cartoon that took everyone's favorite toy-inspired Space Ranger on actual galaxy-saving missions. Think Star Trek meets Toy Story with Laser Blast, Zurg, and a crew of misfits. Only instead of Pixar polish, it had that early 2000s TV animation energy. Series aired from 2000 to 2003, spawned 62 episodes, and even had a direct-to-video pilot movie, The Adventure Begins. And yet, when Disney Plus launched and scooped up almost every corner of its back catalog, this show vanished into the void with no invitation to the streaming party. Unlike your typical Disney Channel spin-offs that ended up on Disney Plus, Star Command is not there. Fans note that neither the series nor its pilot are available to stream or buy digitally. Digital black hole of nostalgia. So what's the deal? There isn't one official Disney press release, but a few plausible villains emerge from the shadows. You've got creative politics. According to animation community chatter, some at Pixar were not thrilled with the series, and that internal friction may have made Disney less eager to spotlight it for streaming. You got rights and licensing complexity. The show is a Disney television, animation, Pixar, crossover, blah-de-blah. Tangled rights can make even big catalog gems awkward to release. And finally, prioritization. Disney Plus seems to favor massive franchise content over niche early 2000s cartoons. And if bean counters don't see dollar signs, that project is going to sit in limbo. Whatever the reasons, it means that Buzz Lightyear of Star Command currently lives like a forgotten VHS tape in the attic, or worse, maybe Sid got a hold of him. Number 7, Yes, Dear. Thank you to Noisy Taco 28 for this one. That's a great screen name. Yes, Dear was that show about two couples with wildly different parenting philosophies trading life lessons, diapers, and sarcastic barbs while trying not to lose their minds or their kids. It ran on CBS from 2000 to 2006. That's 6 seasons, which is pretty respectable for a sitcom about suburban chaos. Greg and Kim Warner struggled to be perfect parents, while Kim's sister Christine and her husband Jimmy brought laid-back energy that often felt like barbecue sauce spilled on a white couch. It was cozy, relatable, and definitely a product of its era. Despite this solid run in later syndication on channels like TBS and CMT, Yes, Dear has essentially vanished from official streaming landscapes. Unlike Everybody Loves Raymond or The King of Queens, which will show up on streaming apps, Yes, Dear doesn't pop up on Paramount Plus, Peacock, Hulu, Netflix, or any other place you'd want to pay for a subscription. Why? Well, the short answer is licensing and distribution limbo. The show was produced jointly by CBS Productions and 20th Century Fox Television, meaning multiple corporate beasts have to agree on digital rights, and they apparently didn't get around to it. There's no official DVD, no digital release, and without that baseline package, streaming services have nothing else to sell. Redditors confirm the maddening reality. All you can find are grainy YouTube uploads because the real show sits in a back room somewhere probably with a label that reads Sitcoms We Forgot to Renew. Well, there's our list. Did I leave out any other big shows you can't find on streaming? If so, please let us know in the comments section below. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel. We would love to see you again. Till next time, I'm Seven McAllister for 7 Entertainment saying bye-bye.